Welcome to Nextline Reports. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. It began like any other evening with the sun setting over Riyadh, painting the city in golden hues as the day slowly faded into night. Meanwhile, thousands of kilometers away, Manila's traffic was at its peak, the city pulsing with life as workers hurried home, horns blaring and headlights flickering in the dusk. Then, suddenly, the regular rhythm of both cities was interrupted. The news broke, a broadcast from the Saudi king, not about policy, not about politics, but about people. The announcement was unexpected, and it immediately captured the attention of millions. The king appeared on screens across the kingdom, speaking directly to the Filipino workers who had helped build and care for his nation for decades, his tone sincere and his message clear. His words were simple, direct, and filled with warmth. He spoke not as a distant ruler, but as someone genuinely grateful for the contributions of others. The king praised the diligence, skill and loyalty of the Filipino workforce, acknowledging their tireless efforts in hospitals, offices and homes throughout Saudi Arabia. He called them not just employees but partners in the kingdom's progress, emphasizing that their hard work had become the backbone of many industries and communities. For nearly 1 million Filipinos in Saudi Arabia, it was a moment of profound validation. In living rooms and dormitories, workers gathered around televisions, listening intently, some in disbelief, others already wiping away tears. The broadcast created a shared experience, binding two cultures together in a way that few events ever could. It was a rare moment of unity, where gratitude and respect crossed borders and backgrounds. In homes across the Philippines, families gathered around their screens, tears in their eyes, hearts swelling with pride and relief. For many, it was the first time they saw their loved ones' sacrifices recognized on such a grand stage. These were the families of overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, who knew the true cost of remittances and the loneliness of separation. Every peso sent home carried stories of missed birthdays, empty chairs at dinner, and silent prayers for safety. To hear a king speak with such genuine appreciation was an emotional release. It was as if for a moment, the distance between loved ones shrank, replaced by a sense of shared honor and recognition. The initial shock gave way to pride. Phones rang, social media exploded, and conversations everywhere centered on the king's words. Messages of gratitude and celebration flooded timelines, uniting people in a wave of collective joy. The speech was more than a compliment, it was a balm for countless families' worries. It reassured parents, spouses, and children that their sacrifices were not invisible, that their loved ones were valued and respected. It was a testament to the character of a people who had traveled far from home, armed with hope and work ethic, determined to build better futures for themselves and their families, no matter the distance or difficulty. The broadcast didn't just go viral, it went straight to the heart of a nation. It became a symbol of recognition, a story retold in offices, schools, and marketplaces across the Philippines and Saudi Arabia alike. Its impact was only just beginning to unfold. The words of the king lingered in the air, sparking new conversations about dignity, respect, and the bonds that tie nations together. For many, it was the first time their sacrifices felt truly seen. Smiles broke through tears as families embraced, feeling a weight lifted from their hearts. The moment marked a new chapter in the story of Filipinos in Saudi Arabia, a chapter defined by gratitude, mutual respect, and the hope for even stronger ties in the years to come. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. News of the king's statement spread like wildfire, reaching people in both Saudi Arabia and the Philippines within moments. Excitement buzzed through living rooms, workplaces, and public spaces as everyone paused to take in the significance of the announcement. Filipino nurses, construction workers, and domestic helpers in Saudi Arabia shared smiles and replayed the king's words over and over, their faces lighting up with pride. For many, it was a moment of validation, a recognition of their hard work and sacrifices far from home. Employers sent messages of appreciation, opening a floodgate of gratitude. Texts, calls, and heartfelt notes poured in, acknowledging the dedication and positive spirit of Filipino workers. In the Philippines, the news led every broadcast, but the most powerful reactions were in homes and villages. Families gathered around televisions, some with tears in their eyes, feeling the weight of recognition from afar. Families felt vindicated. Their loved ones were now seen as ambassadors of Filipino values. Pride filled their hearts, knowing their sacrifices were finally being honored on a global stage. The #Pinoy Pride Inc. trended worldwide as Filipinos shared stories and thanks. Social media feeds overflowed with messages of hope, unity, and gratitude, connecting people across continents. Social media became a global stage for celebration, connecting families and reinforcing community. Video calls and online chats buzzed with excitement as families reunited virtually to share the joy. Saudi citizens joined in, sharing their own positive experiences with Filipino workers. Stories of friendship, teamwork, and mutual respect filled the air, bridging cultures and building new bonds. The King's statement sparked a broader conversation about the contributions of expatriate workers. People began to reflect on the vital roles played by all foreign workers in building the nation's future. It fostered a climate of mutual respect across the kingdom. Workplaces became more inclusive and appreciation for diversity grew stronger. The moment was no longer just about Filipinos, it was about recognizing the human element in nation building. People from all backgrounds felt seen and valued for their contributions. Appreciation became contagious, crossing borders and cultures. Gratitude echoed in every corner, inspiring hope and unity among all communities. The ripple of joy united two nations in gratitude, creating a lasting bond that would be remembered for generations to come. Before the King's statement, Filipino workers in Saudi Arabia were often seen only through the lens of their jobs. Their presence was acknowledged, but mostly in the context of the services they provided, whether in offices, homes, or construction sites. Many felt invisible, their identities reduced to their uniforms and daily routines, rarely recognized for their individuality or the sacrifices they made to support their families back home. The royal praise changed everything. The King's words echoed across the nation, reaching not just the Filipino community, but also Saudi citizens from all walks of life. The day after the broadcast, workplaces felt different. Managers engaged more personally, small gestures of kindness became common. There was a noticeable shift in the atmosphere as if a barrier had been lifted. Appreciation was no longer just professional, it was personal. Saudis began to ask about families, share meals, and offer genuine words of thanks. Filipino workers began to feel less like guests and more like valued members of the community. Social gatherings became more inclusive and friendships blossomed beyond the workplace. Morale soared, and a deeper sense of loyalty took root. The newfound respect inspired many to take greater pride in their work and to contribute even more wholeheartedly. A Filipino engineer remarked that for the first time he felt his contribution was to the nation itself. He spoke of a sense of belonging, of finally being seen as a partner in progress rather than just a worker. In public spaces, interactions became warmer. The invisible wall between locals and expatriates faded. Smiles and greetings replaced indifference, and a spirit of camaraderie began to grow. The King's words humanized the Filipino worker in the public eye. News stories celebrated their achievements and conversations shifted to highlight their positive impact on society. They were no longer just uniforms or job titles, but people honored for their character. Awards and public recognition became more common, shining a light on their dedication and resilience. This shift from labor to personhood was profound. It fostered a sense of dignity and mutual respect that had long been missing. It marked a new dawn of respect and understanding. The relationship between Filipinos and Saudis entered a new chapter, built on empathy and shared humanity. The impact of the King's words was felt in every corner of daily life, creating ripples of positive change that continue to shape the community today. Social media erupted in a digital fiesta, connecting Filipinos worldwide. News clips, heartfelt captions, and trending hashtags like #ProudPinoy and #ThankYouSaudiKing filled feeds. Community groups became virtual town squares for celebration and personal stories. The younger generation amplified the message with memes, videos, and translations, ensuring it reached every corner of the internet. This digital wave countered negative narratives, highlighting stories of kindness and respect. The community wrote its own history in real time, showcasing resilience and pride. The digital celebration became a powerful testament to a new chapter of recognition. The King's statement revealed what many already knew: bonds between Filipinos and Saudis often go beyond employment. Lida, a nanny for over 20 years, became a beloved family member, honored at weddings and sought for advice. Renato, a driver, was treated as kin. His employer flew him home for his father's funeral and supported him through grief. These relationships are built on trust, shared experiences, and mutual respect. Saudi families learn Tagalog, celebrate Filipino holidays, and Filipinos join in Ramadan and Eid. These quiet alliances are the true foundation of the Filipino legacy in Saudi Arabia. The King's praise was a national acknowledgement of these unspoken truths. For decades, Filipinos have been building families and friendships, enriching both cultures. To understand the Filipino workers' impact, you must know the word malasakit. It's more than care. It's deep empathy and responsibility, treating a job or person as your own. Malasakit is the nurse staying late, the mechanic double-checking his work, the helper cleaning with love. It's a value instilled from childhood, driving Filipinos to go above and beyond. This quality builds trust and transforms jobs into relationships. Employers see not just workers but trusted members of their inner circle. Malasakit bridges the gap between doing a job and becoming part of a family. It's rooted in the Filipino spirit of seeing oneself in others. This is why Filipinos build deep connections wherever they go. The King's statement honored this quiet force. Malasakit is the heart of the Filipino legacy abroad. The story of Filipinos in Saudi Arabia began decades ago, forged in sacrifice and hope. The first waves arrived in the 1970s and 80s, building cities and infrastructure. They faced cultural challenges, homesickness, and long separations from family. Yet they persevered, earning a reputation for skill and resilience. Over time, Filipinos became essential in healthcare, IT, and service industries. They set a standard of excellence, not just filling jobs, but shaping the nation. The King's statement was a recognition of this long-term, multi-generational contribution. It honored both pioneers and the new generation. The modern cities and healthy citizens of Saudi Arabia are, in part, their legacy. The King's words acknowledged a partnership that shaped a nation. The journey of an overseas Filipino worker is one of resilience and sacrifice. Leaving home means missing milestones, parenting through screens, and enduring loneliness. Life abroad brings cultural challenges, long hours, and the constant ache of separation. OFWs are modern heroes, their heroism found in daily perseverance. Their resilience is rooted in faith, purpose, and community. They form surrogate families, celebrate together, and support each other through hardship. The King's statement touched so many because it saw past the labor to the human heart. It validated their silent sacrifices and offered a sense of dignity. For every tear shed in loneliness, the King's words said, "We see you." This acknowledgement doesn't erase the pain, but it honors it. It gives renewed purpose to their noble journey. The story of the OFW is one of courage, hope, and enduring love. The King's statement wove the Filipino community in Saudi Arabia into a stronger, unified tapestry. Filipinos from all backgrounds came together, united by this shared honor. Community events, cultural shows, and service projects flourished, fueled by pride. The story echoed back to the Philippines, inspiring national pride and unity. The legacy is one of mutual respect and deeper understanding between nations. The King's words set a new standard for how migrant workers are seen. For Filipinos, it's a reminder that kindness and malasakit are gifts that unite and inspire. This is the lasting legacy, a story of human decency, uniting nations, and inspiring hope for generations.